thought the room was empty, nothing but silence around me, until the mattress dipped, the sheets tightened, and something unseen dragged its way across my skin. My heart froze. But the night wasn't done with me yet. September 4th, between 2 and 3 a.m. The night outside was silent, the streets below deserted, the glow of the lamps bleeding faintly through the curtains. Inside my room, the quiet was suffocating, so heavy it seemed to press into me with every shallow breath. I lay curled on my side, one leg bent, the other stretched into the cool air. The blanket clung loosely around my hips, and the thin strap of my nightdress slipped lower against my shoulder. Exhaustion weighed on me, but my thoughts refused to surrender. Why did the silence feel alive? Why did I sense I wasn't alone? The mattress dipped beneath me. At first I told myself it was nothing, the creak of old springs, my own weight shifting. But then it sank deeper, slower, as if something had lowered itself carefully onto the bed. My chest tightened. My fingers curled around the edge of the blanket, clutching it as though it might save me. Should I open my eyes and see? Or would the sight destroy me more than the not knowing? A line of cold touched my ankle. I gasped softly, unable to stop myself. The sensation lingered, sliding upward, tracing the curve of my calf with unbearable patience. Goosebumps spread across my skin, and shame twisted inside me because it wasn't only terror racing through me, it was something else, something darker. Why did my body tremble as though it waited for more? The air thickened with scent, damp earth and faint sweetness, curling inside my lungs until my thoughts blurred. I inhaled because I had to, but every breath made me dizzier. Could fear taste this intoxicating? Or was I already caught in something I couldn't resist? Then the warmth returned. It spilled across my thigh, brushing upward. So deliberate it felt like a hand learning every inch of me. My lips parted in silence, my chest rising too fast, my pulse hammering out of control. The sheet slid lower across my body, inch by inch, as though pulled by invisible hands. My bare skin prickled as cool air touched it, and so did something else. My breath hitched violently. A broken sound caught in my throat. I wanted to scream, but no words came. My entire body froze, trapped in the most dangerous question of all. Was I resisting, or was I waiting? The mattress groaned again, weight pressing harder, closer. And that was when I knew the night had only begun. The mattress dipped deeper, no longer uncertain, no longer testing. It pressed with full weight, as if something had claimed the space beside me without asking. My arm remained pinned beneath the pillow, my free hand tangled desperately in the sheets that no longer covered what they should. The silence swelled, dense and alive, pulsing in rhythm with my breath. The touch slid across my hip, tracing the curve of me in a way that felt both deliberate and cruel. My chest stuttered with shallow breaths, each one sharper than the last. I wanted to cry out, but my throat betrayed me, sealing shut. Would sound even leave this room if I tried? Or had the silence swallowed it whole already? Heat poured along my back, sinking through the thin fabric until my skin burned. My lips parted around a broken gasp, too soft to resist, too loud to ignore. Goosebumps prickled my arms and shame surged because the trembling in me wasn't only terror. Could it sense that betrayal? Was that the reason the strokes lingered, slower, more certain with every pass? The scent thickened, heavy and intoxicating. Damp earth, sweetness that clung to my tongue. I inhaled against my will, and dizziness blurred the edges of the room. My chest heaved, frantic and shallow, my pulse pounding like footsteps racing closer in the dark. Then the breath returned. It spilled down the side of my neck, curling beneath my ear, hot and unhurried. My body jerked, arching slightly, as though the command within that breath had burrowed deeper than thought. Stay quiet. Not sound, not words, only meaning pressed inside me until every nerve obeyed. My thighs pressed together, trembling, but the weight above me pressed harder, pinning me into stillness. My nails dug into the mattress, desperate to fight, but nothing answered. The sheets pulled tighter, stretching across me like restraints. Was I struggling, or had I already surrendered? A flicker of light broke across the corner of the room. The lamp sparked once, fractured glow spilling briefly across the wall. My eyes darted open. For one horrifying second I saw it, something bent low over me, darker than shadow, too close, too real. Its outline blurred into mine. My lungs froze, my chest locked. The light snapped out. Darkness slammed back into place, heavier than before, and in that suffocating black, I realized it hadn't leaned so close just to stop. The darkness after the light died wasn't silence. It was weight. It pressed into me from every direction, smothering, sealing me into the bed like a prisoner. My chest rose in frantic bursts, every inhale trembling, every exhale breaking against the thick air. My arms were useless above my head, my legs pinned by an invisible force that needed no chains to hold me. The room was alive, breathing with me, waiting. The touch returned, cruelly patient. It slid across my stomach, circling lazily before dragging lower, pausing just long enough to leave me shaking. A gasp slipped from my lips, sharp and humiliating, betraying every ounce of fear tangled with something darker. Shame burned through me, but the presence seemed to savor it, leaning closer, pressing down with intent that felt undeniable. A breath cascaded down the side of my neck, curling at my ear. My pulse faltered, stuttering wildly. The meaning came again, etched deep without sound. Don't resist. My body stiffened, but trembling betrayed me, quivering against the sheets. Was I really still fighting? Or had I already given in, waiting for what came next? The sheets tightened around me, pulled so taut they clung like restraints. My nails clawed at the mattress, desperate to break free, but the fabric refused to move. The scent grew overwhelming, earthy, damp, faintly sweet, so thick it blurred my vision. My lungs ached, my heart thundered, and in that moment I realized I wasn't struggling anymore. I was only waiting. Then suddenly, it vanished. The weight lifted. The warmth dissolved. My body collapsed into the mattress, gulping air as though I'd surfaced from drowning. For a fragile heartbeat, I believed it was finished. I forced my eyes open, scanning the familiar outlines of dresser, chair, curtain, everything still, everything ordinary, until I looked lower. 2 deep indentations pressed into the blanket at my sides, knees planted firmly where nothing should be. My stomach dropped, my pulse roared. I froze as they shifted, dragging forward closer, closer, until I could almost feel the fabric pull against my hips. I shut my eyes, praying for release. When I opened them again, the marks were gone. The blanket lay smooth. The room was still. But the silence was not. It was heavier, darker, alive with promise. Even now, when I close my eyes, I wait for it. The dip of the mattress, the breath at my ear, the command I could never ignore. Because once something chooses you in the dark, you never sleep alone again. Have you ever felt a touch when you knew no one was there? Share your story in the comments. I read them all. subscribe to Paranormal Sleep, and turn on the bell icon for more chilling midnight encounters. If this story gave you chills, hit like. It helps the shadows spread.